We're revisiting Suicide Squad Kill This Just League. Starting it off, we had talked about this in the past. It was supposed to release May 26th. And it was a game I was going to get, and I was ready to buy it, right?
May 26th when?
2023.
That was after the first delay.
Yeah. Yes. Well, after many delays.
This game originally was going to come out in 2022 and then got delayed until May 26, 2023. So, okay.
Yep.
So we're one delay in. So go ahead, Adam. Continue.
Yep. It has been in true development of this specific game since 2020. So many delays, things like that. And now kind of where we're going to go with this. So if you haven't seen much of the gameplay, it's a action RPG, loot and shoot, very vertical game made by Rocksteady. It's kind of over the top, if that makes sense. We'll throw some gameplay up as we're talking about it in the background. But overall, there's a lot of fans not excited for this game. And I don't know what they did different this game. You know what I mean? I don't know what the delay helped with aside from the marketing, if that makes sense.
I think let's just start fresh. Adam, are you excited about this game at all?
I have aspects that I'm excited about, and there's aspects that I'm not excited about. And I would say, so the aspects that excite me about Suicide Squad is the story. I think that's kind of cool, right? There's the Suicide Squad, and they have to figure out how to stop the Justice League from essentially under the Brainiac's mind control. And so they have to figure out how they're going to fight the Justice League. And I think that sets up some really cool boss battles. You know what I mean? Really cool scenes in terms of that. So I think that's really interesting. The character design of all of them is actually really cool. You know what I mean? I think that's really cool. Visually, the characters look really cool. And I will say that I did notice a little change. The characters do have a little bit more personality between all of them. Before, it felt like they all had the same movesets. There wasn't very much uniqueness about them. So I'm excited about that. And I think they explained how they were able to traverse a little bit. So they did a little explanation. So,
what are you not excited for, though?
The live service aspect, as everybody's angry about that, because it gives it the chance of dying and never being able to play again. So similar to the Avengers. So Avengers, you can't play anymore. Right. Avengers, you're not. Just
gone.
It's gone. One other thing I didn't like about it, this is kind of minute or kind of nitpicky, but you can't just instant switch between characters in the mission. You have to pick your character before loading into a mission, which I didn't like about that with Gotham Knights. That was awful. Trying to I have to go back to this room. I can't just instant switch, kind of like Spider-Man. Instant switch is so much nicer. I wonder if you'll be able to do that in this game. But to load into a mission, you can't switch in the mission. Does that make sense? If you're walking towards the mission, you can switch, but once you're in the mission, you're that character. I can see that working a bit, but other than that, I don't like that.
If you had to pick one game that you could closely compare this to, what game would that be? What game do you think that this game is most like?
Most like? I'm trying to think. Saints Row 4. I don't know if you've played that. Or Saints Row, 4, where they had the superpowers, they could jump around, stuff like that, which wasn't a fun. It was fun, but not good. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm going with that. I know, we talked about games like that in the past, but I don't know. I think what they did with this delay, it didn't. I don't know. We can get into that a little bit more. But what do you think? Where do you take it? Where do you think this game is like?
I think, you talked about, the story sets up for a great story. I think one of the major things about it, though, is that this gameplay mechanic doesn't work for that particular storyline.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. Do you think that?
So here's my thing.
If you had real quick, if you had to what gameplay mechanics is this?
What gameplay mechanics?
Yeah, what are we looking at? What type of game is this? Is this a loot and shoot? Is this an arcade brawler? Is this a
Oh,
what?
it's a loot and shoot. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
you're gonna loot and shoot fighting the Justice League.
I guess.
How?
I don't know. So it's like these things that are on the ground. I don't know. That it's confusing. They'll explain it more. So this is the what was we watched was the or what is online is the insider like giving you background of the gameplay, the story, the mechanics, and things like that. One thing I was watching a video. The thing that they don't show about it though of the game is so much to the actual. So if you're watching the gameplay, the way they marketed it is they were like the traversal is the main part of the game. Like they were excited about the traversal. They're really showing that off and not showing off so much the combat mechanics, the loot and shoot mechanics, the live service mechanics. Because I feel like they're probably not as proud of that part. You know what I mean?
I
Because you
feel
gotta
like
admit, like the way you get around the game looks fun. You know what I mean? Like you can't say that doesn't look fun. It's just I think where they're hiding things still, which is kind of bad to say because like they've been delayed for so long, and the mechanics of like the combat don't seem like has changed.
I don't think they've put, like you said, I don't think they've put the time into fixing what really needs to be fixed.
Hmm.
The traversal system, great. You know
Hmm.
what else is fun? Swinging on
What?
the web in Spider-Man.
That's true.
You just did that. How long before that lost its luster?
It didn't.
It didn't lose its luster for you.
No, I'm playing a Spider-Man, Dave. What do you expect? I
I
played
mean,
that game nonstop because it was so fun. But and I think what they did is really cool. They explained how they got their traversal powers before because I think what was so wrong. Kind of going this a little bit. What kind of this delay helped in terms of like understanding why and how they're traversing through the game, and you got to think like they're the Suicide Squad, no powers going against like the ultimate super team of like essentially villains at this point. And so they have to have something to fight against them. Because if they go in there, Harley Quinn with a mallet trying to hit Superman in the face, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's I don't understand. I don't understand how and that's what I was saying is like I don't think the gameplay mechanics work for this storyline because
yeah.
how exactly are you going to take a loot and shoot Harley Quinn and bring
Oh,
her
okay.
into a boss battle with an evil Wonder Woman and expect her to come out on top? Wonder
Yeah,
Woman is going to destroy her in 0.4 seconds.
yeah,
You know
I
what I
could
mean? This
see
has
that.
to be
Yeah.
more of like this has to be more of like an Arkham style game play situation because it's just not feasible. It's not. It has to be though, and
It
this is
can't though. It can't.
for this particular storyline. I feel
Nope,
like it
it
has
cannot.
to be.
It can't. I
Why
don't think
can't
it
it
can.
though?
Because you got to think it's the Suicide Squad. It can't be so like they go in there with no plan. They go in there guns blazing. So I can see the aspect where like it has to have that really fast paced like explosions and stuff like that. I just don't think they executed that aspect of it. I don't. So I think what is going to help this game is the fact that it is so over the top like the Suicide Squad should be. Like you can't say Suicide Squad does everything. Oh, this is our strategy. We're going to go in there sneakily. We're going to find a kryptonite tranquilizer and just like stab Superman. No, that's not going to happen. They're going to go in there as loud as possible.
Bro, this is the one like I get it, but they like it's not gonna work. Like this is you are going against an evil Justice League, dude. You need a plan. Even the Suicide Squad needs a plan.
And their plan is not to have a plan.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
It's one of those things like they have dumb luck and that's kind of where I think they're kind of going with it. But also, I don't know if you watched the thing, but they have the Penguin who's going to upgrade their guns and like give them the anti-meta weapons. So they explain that in there. You know?
I don't know, dude. Okay, so what you're gonna go like maybe if you go in there with some kryptonite bullets, but like that's Superman. They're okay. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for Wonder Woman?
They'll explain it in the game. They're going to have the explanation in the game. So I don't know. I can see. So I don't think it can have the strategy of what Batman would have, if that makes sense. It's the Suicide Squad. They're crazy. They don't have plans, and I think that's why that part of the game can work, but not the mechanics of combat. I think the mechanics of the combat is bad, if that makes sense.
I just don't understand who they're going for with these mechanics though. It's like
Yeah,
who is your audience? You're trying to get like Fortnite and Call of Duty players that also love superheroes into this
yeah.
game. Like that's what you're doing?
And I
Th-
think so. Kind of. I think we can kind of start into this. Do you think the delay hurt or helped this game?
Hurt,
You think?
hurt, 1000%.
I would agree to disagree.
You think it helps it?
There's a lot of people that have I looked through a lot of comments, looked through a lot of different things. I think fans that were on the fence are a little bit more leaning to like, I'm gonna play this game. Now the fans that have always said like, no, this game looks terrible, are not gonna play this game. Like they have not won any of those fans over. But what they kind of like, and I think this comes down to like the marketing. And I think the issue with what was going on in the game in the first place is they didn't answer any questions of what the game was supposed to be. And so I think fans were in shock of what they were giving us, if that makes sense. So they just like, they're like, we're just going to release the game. Like, we're not going to show you anything else. We're not going to explain why things are the way they are. We're just releasing it. And I think that's what hurt. And I think the delay helped in terms of like, they made those insider things. They explained why like they can traverse like that, why the mechanics are the way they are and things like that. So I think that helped. But like I said, I don't think it helped the fans that are like completely against it from the beginning, if that makes sense.
I understand. So I understand your perspective. I think I think yes, that's probably true. So for some fans it did give more of clarification and probably ease some of their concerns. I
Mm-hmm.
think also though we have to take into account that how many of those fans that thought this game would be good are still around, that still care about this game. Because I feel like with the amount of delays that happened, yes, there are people that are excited that the delays are improving the game, but there's also probably, I would have to say, an equal, if not more, fan base that is just totally out of it now. That just they've heard so much about the game and it's been delayed so much that they're like, because you know how people are, man. They're they're
Mm-hmm.
on it, they're on it, they're on it, and then they're on to the next. And it's like
Yep.
you gotta strike, dude. And it's like how many people that were interested in Suicide Squad from the beginning in 2002 when they first announced this game are just like so far removed from it that
Yeah.
you've now alienated your potential fan base even more of people that are just like, I know what, I'm so done with Suicide Squad, like I don't even care anymore. Like I've been on 40 different games since Suicide Squad. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I It's hard to say because like I said, I see a lot of positive responses to the delay and the things that they're showing. And I think another thing that Rocksteady and Warner Brothers is trying to do is like sell the story. And see, for me that's working a bit. Like I think the story is sold a little bit more than it had been, if that makes sense. I think the delay is helping and what they release is selling the story more than the mechanics of the game, the live service stuff of the game, which this is the first episode of their insider view of the game. So I think we'll see more of what is in store, but I think that helps them in that aspect. But I see where you're saying though, like those fans that are like, I'm gonna love this game. Okay, not anymore. Or not as much, still looks good. All right, all right, I'm starting to lose it, Okay, they delayed it again. Okay, I'm done. And
Yeah.
I could see that, but I think see that those people are like, all right, this game looks bad. Like the story's gonna suck. I'm not gonna enjoy it. Oh wait, all right, they're showing me a little bit more. Okay, the story looks actually really cool. I get to fight the Justice League. I'm about to kill Superman. That's really cool.
And the thing that's a perfect representation of you doing like this, because now it's like, at what point are these flip-flopping of this is
Or are they evening?
the I mean,
Whoop.
only time will tell. But I do think if we had to kind of take a guess, if I had to take a guess here, this is the people that no longer care about Suicide Squad because it's been too long, and then I do feel like it's not evening. I feel like there's one side that's clearly depleting faster.
I would. Okay, I agree with that. I agree with you there.
Because
But
what we're talking about right now is, delays does a delay help a video game or hurt a video game? And I think the very simple answer to this question is it depends on the franchise.
mhm,
You know what I mean? So I've kind of looked through, I've done a little bit of research, and I wanted to see which games were delayed that went on to be super successful.
mhm,
And just to throw out a couple names on this list, Zelda Breath of the Wild was delayed for a very long time, ended up being super successful. Final Fantasy XV was delayed for a super long time, ended up being very successful. Metal Gear Solid 5, Resident Evil 4, all of these games were delayed a super long time and ended up being successful games. But what do they all have in common?
really good developers and
They
backing
are
behind them.
very established franchises with a very large fan base of people
Mhm,
that love the series. And it's like, if you have that kind of level of clout, right?
mhm,
Okay, delay is fine. If Elden Ring 2 is supposed to come out and they delay the game, I don't care because I know From Software is going to knock it out of the park, and it's like I believe in that franchise. I believe in that series. I believe in that developer. The game is going to be good, and I know it's going to be good. And if they delayed it, there's an obvious reason of why they've delayed it. Um,
mhm.
a series like this, a loot and shoot Suicide Squad, like you do not have the clout to delay it this many times. You know what I mean? Like you just at some point, like, you have to look at your franchise as a whole and say, like, dude, we are not strong enough to like garner this level of waiting. We like at some point we just have to get it out. Like it just needs
Right.
to get out before people don't care anymore. And I think a game like the Suicide Squad probably not going to survive this. A game like Zelda obviously going to survive this.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
kind of going off that. So I think delaying a game, it can help a game in certain ways in terms of like if they improve gameplay mechanics specifically, like they're going into like rework, okay, like this isn't going to work for this type of game or this is not where the direction that this game needs to go. And I think what happened with Suicide Squad and why it's not going to work in terms of like the mechanics of delaying it because of that is because they didn't fix any of the mechanics. They didn't change any of the mechanics. What they changed is, okay, we didn't tell anybody what's going on with this game, but now we're going to tell everybody what is in store. And like you said, is it too late? I know, like I said, like it's kind of the balance of the scale. Some people on the fence are going, yeah, I'm going to play this game, but at the same time, like they didn't change anything. And I think the problem is because from the groundwork, they made it that live action loot and shoot, and so they would have to like completely scrap it and start over if they were going to make it to what I don't want to say like Arkham because I personally don't think Suicide Squad can be in Arkham, if that makes sense, because of who the Suicide Squad is. I think it can have mechanics of Arkham, but given I don't think it has to be loud and explosions and things like that. Whereas Batman, Arkham, there it's not that. If that makes sense. But I think what happened is they went away from mechanics of games like of Arkham that really help them, like really like that's their identity. But what's hurting them is like they're like, let's just throw it up into a loot and shoot over the top. Like over the top is good for Suicide Squad, but not to the point where it's not against, completely different. Like that's the issue. It's completely different from what they've done in the past. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, if you I would be hard pressed to say that if you in 2022, if you gave Rocksteady this this IP and it was like, make us a dope Suicide Squad game,
Yeah.
it would not even come close to what Suicide Squad game we're getting right now. It would
Right.
not even come close. And you know, I think what we're kind of talking about here, and again, I don't want to like throw shade on Suicide Squad. If this was a Rocksteady Suicide Squad game that got these delays, okay, Arkham was super, super, super popular and super successful. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Rocksteady's story-based Suicide Squad getting delays, right? Because I
Yep.
know they have a proven track
Hmm.
record, and I know that they're going to put out a good game. The Suicide Squad people aren't waiting for this. They're just not. They're not waiting for this game. Nobody
Yeah.
like nobody cares anymore. You know what I mean? And I think I think the delays hurt him. I really do. I really do think the delays hurt him a lot.
Yeah, I
Because
we'll have to see.
I think there's no changes that can be made to this game that would garner this level of waiting.
Yeah,
Like
that's the issue. They didn't put the gameplay mechanic changes. They just like changed the marketing, and
right.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
So
there's no level of changing this game from what it is at its core, which is what essentially I feel like is going to be probably a pay to play loot and shoot. It's like
so there's no pay to win. It's supposed to be like all cosmetic stuff with the pay the battle pass. So I guess we didn't really talk about that. So things that is going to be promised in the release of the game. I know we're kind of going backtrack here, but so there's going to be 2 editions. The standard edition, which is $69.99, so full retail price game. If you pre-order it, you get classic outfits, which they're okay. And then on the Xbox, or sorry, if you pre-order digitally only, you'll get some rogue outfits. Okay, still not that cool.
No.
Now the deluxe edition, $99.99.
Oh my god!
You'll get the battle pass token, which is supposed to be 4 seasons. So I mean, like, because battle passes are like $15 each. You know what I mean? Like each season, which is annoying.
This game isn't gonna last 4 months. You're gonna buy 4 years of battle passes.
No, it's 4. Yeah, each month is a season. That's how it's gonna go. And you'll get 3 black mask weapons.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I hope this game proves you wrong, Dave.
I hope it does
you
too.
eat your words.
I hope I do too, because I love the Suicide Squad, and I'm just waiting for this to tank.
You'll get 72 early access. Okay, cool. The Justice League suits. That's probably my favorite part of the deluxe edition.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool. Justice League suits.
I'm wasting my money to get the bat suit or the suits. So overall, because I don't know if you saw it, like the Batman for Deadshot like suit, it looks like the Arkham Knight suit. Like,
yeah,
you know
no,
oh, it's so cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen the suits. Anytime a new Batman suit comes out, I'm on it.
Yeah, and another thing, the King Shark and the Superman suit looks really funny and cool too. So
I like King Shark. I think he's an underrated character.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, but kind of. So that's about it in terms of like delays in general. Do you think they hurt games? Oh, we already kind of talked about that. So I think so this is a quote from I'm gonna say this wrong. It is from Nintendo. Shigeru. Somebody from Nintendo quoted.
Did you see me not even try?
Yeah, I'm not gonna try.
I'm not even gonna try.
So some guy, I think he's big in Nintendo. I just don't want to say his name wrong. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rush game is forever bad.
It doesn't matter if it's a good game if nobody's interested.
Yeah,
which is the quote that I'll kind of throw back at him. There's a lot of hidden gems that are great games that no one's ever played, and it's I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a great quote. I think it's a very hopeful quote. As I sit here ragging on Suicide Squad, do I hope the game fails? Of course not. I don't. I never hope that anybody fails at anything. You know what I mean? I always want everybody to be successful in what they do. And do I want this game to fail? No, of course I don't. You know what I mean? But I just, in my heart of hearts, I think if we're talking, this show is us expressing our honest opinions, and I'm expressing my honest opinion that I think that they've waited too long, and they don't have the clout to garner this level of patience from a fan base.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, that's all I got to say. I mean, I think the main question that we kind of wanted to cover here is, do delays hurt or help games? And the answer, from my personal opinion, is it depends on the game. It depends very much on the franchise and the studio behind it. Do you have the level of respect in the industry that people will wait for your game? And you have to seriously ask that question. You have to seriously ask that question to yourself, and take all of your your thoughts and feelings and humbleness brags and all that stuff, and set that aside and say, are people going to wait for this game? And I feel like most studios, the answer is no. People are going to wait for Zelda. People probably aren't going to wait for a loot and shoot Suicide Squad. You know what I mean?
I think they wait for this game if it wasn't so like if it was closer to the Arkham series. You know what I mean? Like if like let's say this game was going to come out, and not saying like, and if it was a different type of game, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they would wait for it when Rocksteady was more relevant, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're not saying they're not relevant anymore, but the delays they were announced in 2020. They delayed it, and no like real changes to what they were doing with the game. And I think that's the issue. So I think games can be successful from delays if they answer or they change things that need to be changed, and they make good on the promises that they originally gave fans. And they haven't done that, I think, with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. So either way you kind of look at it, I feel like Suicide Squad probably the changes are not going to help it. The delays are not going to help it. Not to say that it would not help other franchises, but for this one specifically, bro, just get whatever you got. I'm looking at you. Whatever you got, put it out. Get it out there. Get it out into the universe ASAP because people are starting not to care about this game.
Adam's still going to drop $99 on this.
You
game,
are going to drop that. I know you are. You just want that suit. You're getting sold
I
by the suit.
I want the suit. I want to play it early. And other than that, I think another thing with it. Sorry, last point of this game. I'm going to get to play the story, and I probably won't last much more than the story, if that makes sense. Like I won't be engulfed. It's not going to turn into
an
Division
online
2 for me.
Yeah,
it's not going to turn into Division for me because like I don't think they'll have content. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's going to be content that's going to keep me engaged. Essentially,
I don't think it's going to either.
Yeah.
So we will see. Adam will be buying this game. I know he will be buying this game. So we'll retouch it when it comes out and see if Adam feels like the delays were worth it or not.
Yeah. Comes out February 2nd, and then if you get the deluxe edition 3 days before that. So be on the lookout. We hope to talk about it once it does come out, and who knows, maybe I'll do some reaction videos to the announce or like each episode. You know what I mean? When they release, I'll instead of bringing it up into the podcast every episode, we can have like separate videos about it if you're truly interested in still.
This game has a 50% chance of actually coming out on the release date. Are you taking the over or under?
It's going to release. It has to release this time.